Wow, that's cool. The very first ever Rochambeau for the break. Jason Williams lost. Why don't you just Rochambeau for the match? Tang, you want to come in? Or are you coming in? You coming in? Okay. Let's yeah. All right, we got. Is that the break? Is that the break already, Tang? Okay, this is the first game. First game. This is Spencer LADIN. He's 17 years old, and he's from. I think he's from Calabasas, Woodland Hills area. Yeah. And a very talented player who has probably grown 4 inches in the last 2 months. Like this kid is growing quick. And he's playing Jason Williams. Jason is a very well-known player in the Bay Area. This is Daniel Busch. I'm sitting here with Chris Swart again. And we're going to sweat this match.
Again.
Sweat this match again.
Again. Well, this should flow a little bit better, this match here.
Yeah, Jason Williams.
What's his Fargo rating?
His Fargo rating is 709.
Oh, boy.
Last year, or 2 years ago, when he went hill with Dennis Orcollo in that infamous match for third place at the West Coast Challenge 10 ball, he was a 719, but now he's a 709. He's gone down.
He's sandbagging?
Yeah, he's
sandbagging.
He's sandbagging. Yeah. But
he's been playing a lot of
pinball, apparently.
He's a pinball wizard.
Yeah, I forgot to ask him about that, but I've had literally 7 minutes to catch up with Jason Williams since I got here, and you know, I consider him a dear friend. He's hosted me several times, me and Geraldine, when we come up to the Bay Area and we do live streams, specifically in San Francisco at Delbert's room, Family Billiards.
Speaking of that, Delbert's in the room too.
And Delbert's here, yeah.
He is. Did you get him in the booth yet?
No, I haven't. I've never gotten Delbert in the booth, ever.
You got to ask him.
I've asked him.
He always want to do it? No?
I'll ask him again, but he'll probably say no. He's always said no. Brian Elwell, hi. How are you? I want to say hi to all you guys watching today, and really glad that you guys are able to watch this stuff.
Score 1-0 now.
The score is 1-0 Jason in this race to 8. This is a winner's side match. Let's see. I want to see how Spencer has done in this tournament and who he has played to get here. Spencer LADIN came here by way of a bye in the first round. Then he beat Homero Esquivel. He beat Miguel Morfin, which is pretty strong. And now he's playing Jason. So he's had 2 matches. And
I believe this is the last match on the winner's side for tonight too, I believe.
Really?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. We're trying to play down to the final 16 today.
I don't think we're going to get there. It's probably going to be more like final
24.
24 probably.
Yeah. We want to end reasonably early this evening so that we don't have to endure too much sleep deprivation. Also for the players too, you know, it's important that they get enough rest. Nice shot by Spencer. Yeah, wow. That's like Tang just looked over and said, "Wow." And I observed this about Spencer about 6 months ago at the Hard Times Monthly tournament. that Spencer's got he's got a good swagger around the table, very confident, you know, which is very helpful when you're playing tough opponents. You know, you show confidence, and if you don't let up on that confidence, it can rattle your opponent.
Yeah, when you're his age, you do that with everything.
He plays with a lot of heart, you know. Like, I don't
Get out
want
of your car and you drive 180 miles an hour because you're confident that you're not going to crash into anything. Get on your bike and you go jump whatever you want to go jump.
yeah.
That's
You're
kind of
invincible.
that's kind of being young.
Yeah.
And then you grow up and you realize
that stuff
those
hurts.
things it hurts. That don't always work. Confidence level starts to drop.
Yeah.
Reality,
Yeah.
you know, strikes in, and you learn what ibuprofen was made
Boy,
for.
this guy plays faster than Tinsley, actually. Wow.
A little careless there.
In the drink.
I thought he was a little careless on that shot.
Yeah. He could have finessed it, and I think he'd have gotten a better leave. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, he wanted to hit it.
Sometimes when you're in the moment, though,
yeah.
you're playing. That's that confidence.
He wanted to hit it firm, though, because he wanted to make sure that he made the ball. Anyway, Jason's just going to saunter up to the table, and
2-0.
it's going to be 2-0, just like that. And we're less than 7 minutes into this match.
I'll tell you what, though. This is how I see this playing out. I think the next 3 games are going to go quick, and then it's going to hit this really slow, this big-time slowdown. I think Spencer will slow down a little bit. I think you'll start to see a little bit more safeties. I think it will become a little bit more serious once it starts to get a little closer into the match. Right now,
he's going to have.
They're just kind of like, you know, letting it flow because they haven't been on the table in a while.
Yeah. Jason Williams earlier today, he came by way of a bye as well. So both of these players came through a bye round, the first round. His first match was with Tang Ho, and that went hill. Jason scraped by and beat Tang Ho, and then he beat Chris Atkins. So now he's playing Spencer.
Well, he's got a tough bracket, that's for sure. No easy matches on that bracket. Looks like it broke dry.
Yeah. A lot of dry breaks on these, you know, with the not racking the 9 on the spot. So what's Spencer going to do here?
What's Spencer play with?
He just got a McWhorter. Jerry McWhorter finished his cue yesterday. He said he
so that adds confidence too.
Yes, the new cue-itis. New cue-itis, yeah. But, you know, it's another good thing is it's a Jerry McWhorter cue.
I see the extension on the back.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of players are using extension.
Is he using an extension?
It looks like there's an extension on there.
I don't know if there is. No, it doesn't. Well, maybe
long.
there is. You're right.
Unless it's made that way. It's possible it's made that way.
No, it's no extension. No, that's a 59-inch cue. Yeah. That's a 59-inch cue. So Jason's got a long one.
This is a heat check. Fire at it. If you make it, you got shape.
It's a good shot.
So he's got a few stroke shots in this layout. He's going to have to actually do some shooting. A little lucky on that shot.
Well, Jason's definitely favored in this match. He's, you know, he's playing Spencer, who only has a 635 Fargo rating. Jason's got a 709. And incidentally, Spencer's from Camarillo, California.
Yeah, you know, something that I'll bring up here when it comes to Fargo rating or any handicap rating, it all depends on where you play at too and who you're playing.
Yes.
You know, here Jason, you know, there's not a lot of people that play Jason's speed. Jason's, you know, probably top 3 in the Bay Area.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, so anybody he's playing, he's normally winning. So his rate is going to go up.
Yeah.
To where you have Spencer, where I guarantee Spencer's playing, top-notch guys down there. There's probably 10, 15 top-notch guys down there he's playing. A lot harder field for him to play through.
Yeah.
So your average does not grow as much when you're playing better players. When you're playing weaker players, your average will go
goes up
higher. Now, I've experienced that because when I lived in Chico, California, there was, at the time I lived up there was probably the tournaments I used to play, and mind you, this was USBPA back in the day. I think the lowest speed that played in the tournaments was probably 95. Everybody was 110, 120, 130, 140, up to 150.
In Chico.
In Chico. At that time, there was a lot of big players out there. When I first started playing, my rating was a 40. Now 40, right?
Wow.
But here's what's interesting. So now, obviously, I wasn't beating the 150s, the 120s, and all these other guys.
Right.
I'd hang with them, but my average would never go up.
Yeah.
Now, I decided to go to a tournament in San Francisco, and it was a 75 and under. Now, this was back years ago. I came in, and I blew everybody away. I'm running 6 racks, 7 racks at a time. I'm playing the speed that I normally play against. And, of course, I get, where's your ID kind of thing, because they think I was a 40. But my average never went up because of the people I was playing. Once I reached outside of the area that I was in and started playing other tournaments, that's when all of a sudden I started spiking, right? So a lot of times for me the averages are close, but they're not consistent. It always depends on what you're playing, what kind of tables you're playing on, and what environment you're playing in. And that's why it's so hard to, another example I'll bring up, you go to BCA, you go to some of the bar table tournaments, you go to BCA and you play some of the team tournaments. Yeah. You can. I remember putting together teams with 150 speed players, and we would get our butts handed to us because there's other guys out there that were 10 times the players we were. And that's just it's just the environment and the way that they play. So averages for me, are okay. It's a good starting point, but it's not. To me, honestly, I don't think that.
Ready for another one?
No. Thank you, buddy.
If I look at this head-to-head and they're gambling, if Jason's gambling against Spencer, I don't think that it's that much of a difference between these two. I think Jason has a little bit more experience, but I think shooting-wise is probably not that far off compared to what their Fargo ratings do.
Okay. There are times, too, when you're still trying to play somebody, even if you know what their rating is, you're just trying to play them to feel them out, to figure out, how you get their number, like what are their weaknesses and how can you exploit them. And sometimes that takes a few matches for you just to figure that out,
Absolutely. And right now, I can guarantee in Spencer's mind, and I don't know Spencer all that well, but he already knows that Jason plays good. Yeah. So right now, he's coming out shooting. He's coming out, I'm firing, I'm going to run as much as I can. Exactly. I'm not seeing a lot of safety and a lot of play. But as this match goes on, that mano-mano kind of thing is like, okay, now I got to back off. It's time to play the way I play.
That's true.
I'm not here to sit and try. Right now, they're trying to see who's bigger,
Right, I agree. They're like dogs. They're sniffing each other's butts, right now. But, you're right.
You're already seeing Spencer slow down.
At the end of the day, a lot of people will say, don't play the opponent, play the table. You know what I mean?
Well, play the way you play.
Right.
Play
just play your game, right? But there's always a psychology. There's an element of psychology to every pool match that you play, no matter what. Whether or not you're the one giving the psychology or you're the one getting it.
Right. And right now he's slowed down quite a bit. He's already.
He is slowing down,
seeing
though.
him slowing down, paying attention to what he's doing, watching, looking at the table a little bit more carefully.
Yeah, yeah, and that's due to some experience as well. I mean, he's seeing a good pattern here, and so he knows, okay, look, I have a good pattern. I can't make any careless mistakes. And look what he's done here.
He's okay there.
He's a little bit off, though. That's going to put pressure on him.
But he's got enough room where he's got the 7 in the corner. He's going to come right back up to the 8. I think he's got perfect position there. And, and sometimes that can be, when you're young like that, that's another thing that you think you got to get perfect on every single shot. You don't have to.
No, you don't.
These guys are good enough shooters to where if you're in a general area where you need to be, you're fine. And
you should be able to.
Right. A lot
should
of
be able
times
to
they try to get perfect.
Draw out and spin out here.
And right here, this is, to be honest with you, this is natural shape right here. He just needs to make the 7. Now, I'm going to bet you he puts a little pop on this. And see, I would have never went that way, and there was no need to. All he had to do was come forward and come back straight up the table. It was a much easier shot.
I might have drawn out there.
That was the young part of it, though, because drawing, it was much easier to just follow that cue ball follow, all the way back up the table. He would be in perfect position.
Bounce, come back up table.
Easier
for the
on the
8.
shot on the 7.
Yeah.
You're not firing it at the hole. Now Jason's got some worry. He's got to pull something out here. So.
Yeah, this ain't no gimme.
No. But these tables are new enough where you can get enough on this to draw that ball back.
How long ago did Ernesto change the cloth on this table?
Oh,
this is like 3
month?
weeks now.
Yeah,
Month.
That's a month. Maybe a little bit longer than a month. Maybe
I like
5
Jason
weeks.
here. I like Jason here.
Yeah, but he's not really. He doesn't draw real well, and it's just the way he strokes the ball.
He dips
See
down.
how I did? See what I mean?
Yeah. But look at this. He's going to
always
come
been
up
like
smelling like a rose. Look.
I don't know. I think you can see the 7. Can you see the 7?
I'm not sure, buddy.
Well, on the monitor here it looks like it, but I can't tell. I'm gonna guess not. Yeah, he's lining up like it does. I think it goes.
He's
I think it
winding
goes by.
up like it does.
No, I think it goes by. Even though it looks like he might be banking it over. He might be going for the little one pocket shot and bringing the cue ball back up.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. Oh, double kiss.
I don't think so. I think he just missed it, didn't it?
Did
it
double kiss? Yeah.
All righty then. So he doesn't play much one pocket then.
Well, no, he needed a little outside English to beat the kiss there.
So this is an interesting stage. So me right now, I'm cutting the 7 ball back into the center of the table on the rail. I'm just, you know what I mean, short side. I'm coming short side of the 7. I'm just going to nick it and send the cue ball back up towards the 8.
Khan and Bonnie on the next table. That would be Khan and Bonnie. That's 7-4. And I'm not sure who's in the lead.
That surprised me. I'm surprised he went that way. I'd have went the other side of the 7. Cut, like I said, cut 7 over to the center.
Dude, I'm such a one pocket player that I would have just banked the 7.
Nah.
Why not?
Loser, because you'll never get that. You'll never get the cue ball up to the 8 where you need it.
Yeah, you will.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
I'll set that shot up and play it.
You can, but how much you want to bet?
I don't know. I'll bet you a couple bucks.
Okay.
Bet you $5.
Okay.
You ready? I don't know. I don't even remember who he was. Yeah, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh, is he over there?
No, I want it. Yeah, but that table's open for anybody.
Okay.
Bar table.
My buddy, Frank Moreno, the banking king. Oh, sorry. You know what I've been doing, too, is a lot of people ask me to play, and I don't feel confident lately. I ask them to play banks. I've been playing a lot of banks lately. I say lately, but I mean I've played probably 3 times in the last 2 months. It's like, you know.
Lately, about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, every time Jason seems to be on the 7-ball, it's not an easy shot.
No.
He's got to come with it. So again, it's a possible 1-pocket shot. You got the 9-ball that can cover. If you don't get it, you don't get it over there. Or you just fire this ball in and rip that ball backward.
That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to fire it in.
I think he's going to get away with this.
Well, he's definitely going to create some distance.
Now, this is not a peach either.
No, none of this is. With the 8-ball where it is, for the most part, we're going to be seeing this as long as they leave the 7-ball long down table.
Now, with the windup he did last time on the 7-ball and tried to draw it back, I see him doing the same thing on this one.
Right, just out of style points.
Yeah. Me, I like to hit a little low outside spin and come around 3 rails and back up. You know what I mean? Instead of the draw there, I like to follow it.
Yeah.
3 rails and go back up. A little harder shot, but a little easier to control. All right, well, this is a shot he need, you know.
This is pretty.
At his speed, he should be
pretty
able to
basic
make and draw
here.
back.
Yeah,
But
it's
like
a
I
half
said, his
table draw shot.
His draw is not that strong. That's one weakness that he has, and he's following.
Because he can, though. Little inside follow, maybe 12-30. Yeah.
Which he's good at, but he's good at that shot because he doesn't have a really good draw shot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Most players would draw that back a little bit and then get that angle.
You know, I think he doesn't draw well because he's so used to the cue that he's playing with.
No, it's his jump. It's the way he strokes. You
It's
see
the way
him jump.
his
He's
follow
got that
through.
jump. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's a
That
miscue
body
when
English
he
of
does it.
his. Yeah.
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 But he's done that for years. He's never changed.
You know, another thing too, I saw him lose in action against this kid from Florida. Remember that 21-year-old kid or whatever that was here a year and a half ago? Skinny kid.
Yeah.
And he lost Hill. And you know what? Why Jason lost? His break.
Yeah.
He should have taken something off of his break because he kept breaking dry or scratch on the break, you know. I told Jason, I said, if you worked on your break, your game would jump up, man. And he's still, to this day, I haven't seen him really work on his break.
I have never seen him work on anything. He's just one of those kind of players that just gets up and plays.
Yeah, so then maybe we're just cutting him up too much, you know, because
I'm not cutting him up at all.
I am.
For the.
I just hate to see the guy lose, you know, because he's a friend of mine.
He hates to lose too.
Yeah.
But he's one of those kind of guys that his practice is playing. That's his practice. I'm the same way. I can't sit and shoot patterns or shoot. I can't practice that way. I have to just get up and play.
On your end, 9
Just
ball.
the way, anything. 1 pocket the same way.
Yeah.
I don't like to warm up that much. It's just
like
me,
drills and all that. Yeah.
And that probably hurts me on some of the stuff I play. But I just can't do it. It just.
You will always see Jason break that way, though.
Yeah.
Even when it's not working for him, and it hurts me to see it that though, you know. That's right. You got Bucktooth here.
Oh boy.
I thought I heard woofing.
Great. Can you imagine Bucktooth and Earl Strickland in the same room together? That would be interesting.
I'd
would it
love to
not?
see it.
Can you imagine those two yakking at each other?
How about Earl, Bucktooth, and McCready in the same?
I got more gold in
First
my.
I gave him the 5, 6, 7, 8 on the board now. What can I give him on the big table?
What did he ask to give you?
5, 6, 7, 8. He wants to give. He wants me to give him.
5, 6, 7, 8.
I can't see nothing. You're too big for that. I'll be 80 years old.
Anyway.
I've got more gold in my pocket than you do.
Hey.
But now you don't want to do it. I know, but back in the day you want to do it all the time.
Come here. Come
Now
here.
you don't want to do it no more.
One thing I know is that he's probably got more money in his pocket than all of us in this room combined.
We have a jewelry business.
Okay.
I'll make you 4 different bets. I'll let you break the balls.
Anyway.
You can't get 8 balls back.
You haven't 86'd him yet?
No, because it's so fun to listen.
He is
I'm
fun
sorry.
to listen to.
You have to have characters like this in a pool room. Is sometimes as annoying as it can be, it's funnier than hell.
I
to listen
know.
to.
I know.
It's the same reason why Earl doesn't get kicked out of places, because everybody loves to
I
listen.
know. Did
To
you
see
hear
what
the
Earl
recent?
says now.
Did
I
you watch
did.
the recent
And
speech
you know what?
by Earl?
To be
the
honest
interview.
with you, I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was
I
actually
agree.
to the point.
I agree.
I thought that was actually pretty calm with him. And I've talked to him a few times.
Why are y'all
everybody
ganging
took-
up on me?
Hey, look, everybody I think took that way out of proportion. I think he was right in a lot of this thing, and he normally is.
Yeah.
In a lot of the stuff he said. I know. Okay, the cold thing. Yeah, he's getting old, and he probably was freezing. But the rest of the stuff, it's just like, look, it's reality, and people sometimes just don't like to hear about reality.
Yeah.
You know. And to be honest with you,
Well,
yeah,
he has no
can
filter. Earl has no
I
filter.
can agree. He can out-commentate pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
That man has more information and knowledge and his
experience,
pinky
yeah.
than anybody does.
Yeah.
It just doesn't always come out great. That's all. You know.
Yeah. I think the problem is they always make a caricature of him when they do it, you know?
Well, and you got to put yourself in his shoes too. You're talking about a person that, you know, at one time was one of the best in the fucking world.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. And
It's all right.
he's not. He'll never be there anymore. But in his mind, he is still that. You know. That's hard. That's a hard thing to live with.
It's true.
And to be honest with you, a lot of the younger players have no respect. They don't have respect for. Look, it can be a pain in the butt, absolutely, but you still got to respect somebody like that. That's put pool on the map for years.
Yeah.
For years.
Yes, exactly.
And to be honest with you, they can say all the bad they want. If they want pool to grow, they still use him. They still have him around because they know he is a staple that people know. The reality is, I can talk to 90% of my customers that come into a pool hall, and none of them know who anybody in the top 50 are right now, pro-wise. But they'll know Earl.
They'll know about
that
Johnny
name.
Archer, Earl Strickland,
They'll know the name because they used to be on
Jeanette
TV.
Lee.
They used to
That's
be on TV.
it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Those are the 3 people that I always hear about.
And the reality, it's not even Shane. Most people don't even
No,
know
they
who
don't know
Shane
a lot.
is.
Yeah.
They don't know. Dennis. They don't know
They don't
these
know
people.
anybody. Yeah.
They knew, and that's a lot of it's because obviously it's not on TV anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is that's why they still use Earl. They still use Johnny. They still use Nick once in a while. Is
Yeah.
because people out there know those people from years ago. So as much as Earl's worst thing for pool, the reality is no, he's not.
Uh-oh. Jason's out of line here.
And one other thing I'll say too is a lot of the problems that he deals with is obviously his own issues, but I blame a lot of the promoters that allow him to get away with what he gets away with because they're using him and they're doing that on purpose. I've had him in a few tournaments. I've never, ever had a problem with him. I've never had a problem with him yelling at the crowd. I've never had a problem with him. And now, don't get me wrong, he's been goofy. He's been off his medication.
Yeah.
But I've never, and the reason why is because I went over there and said, hey, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
That's not what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
talk to him and respect him and treat him respectfully, he's not a stupid guy.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. It's like I said, you know, I feel like people make a
missed that?
caricature out of him, you know.
And the other thing too is a lot of people don't understand. Earl's bipolar. He's been bipolar for years. I don't think a lot of people knew that. I don't think he even knew that. But that's what bipolar. A lot of people. That's what happens. You go from 0 to 60 in 30 different directions. You can be good for a month or two because you're good on your medication, but that medication will wear off and they have to try something different. And I know he goes through that because I know
It's a terrible disease,
I
man. It's
have-
debilitating,
yeah,
bro.
My brother-in-law goes through it, and I see it. It's exactly the same kind of thing. And it can be great one day and completely off the
Yeah.
next.
Yeah. Well, Jason seems to be okay here. Scores 3-2, so I'm sure he'll appreciate this point that he's about to make. Spencer concedes. It's 4-2.
So what a key shot for Spencer to miss. That ball that was in the pocket. It's one thing about
Yeah,
diamonds. You got to
yeah.
be used to those. You know, those balls can be deep in that
Yeah, I
pocket.
think Spencer plays mostly on the gold crowns. I know that he has exposure to Ventura Sticks Billiards, which is Jerry's room, where Jerry has a couple diamonds there. But for the most part, Spencer plays mostly on gold crowns. I don't know what he's got at home. I think he does have a table at home. I'll have to ask him though how he feels about playing on the diamonds.
Well, if you ask him right now, he's not too happy about it because of that ball right there. You know.
You know, he's got a lot of heart. I actually got into action with Spencer about 6 months ago.
How'd that come out?
Well, he came up to me and said, I want to play one pocket with you. I know you like to play one pocket. And I said, okay. And just out of the gate, he offered me 9-7. I said, Spencer, you just play me even. And we played even. And he offered me the 8-ball, 9-ball. I said, Spencer, we just play even. We played even. And I got lucky both sets, you know. So, I mean, he's I think somebody's telling him that he's better than he is, or that he can, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I think he's still learning how to match up. But he's very talented. And I've seen him go through a lot in this game in the short time that I've known him.
What time are we starting tomorrow?
11. New.
Huh? You didn't want to open that early?
Let me see what time. I gotta come in at 10.
Chris is being pulled away. Anyway, yeah, I do have a lot of respect for Spencer's game, and I like him too. So, gosh, it's with younger guys, it's so hard to know who they are because they change so quickly as they're young. You know, they change based on their exposure to whatever they're exposed to, the type of people that are exposed to. Sometimes they change, you know, and they grow up quickly. Sometimes it's for the best. Sometimes it's not for the best. So I always try to keep an open mind when I don't see a young guy like Spencer play for about 6 months, and I don't get to talk to them. You know, they can be completely, like, I have to say, Nate Nunes. He's a completely different young man since I saw him 9 months ago at the West Coast Challenge. I'm not going to go into like what changed, but you know, he was a 13-year-old kid when I met him last year, and now he's a 14-year-old kid, and he's become a lot more mature in that 1 year. You know, he was very respectful to me. He said, like, you know, hey, congratulations on your engagement with Geraldine, and you know, it's really nice to see you, and he was very respectful. So that was really cool to see that. But it's amazing how quickly kids change based on you know, who they're exposed to. I think it's really important that they get the most positive exposure that that you can bring to them. In a realistic way. Good competition, though, for Spencer right now. It's not every day you get to play someone like Jason Williams, who he's not going to make every shot. Good to see Spencer, though. He's developing still as a player. I remember when Chris Robinson was 17. He played about this speed. So, you know, who's to tell how good this guy's going to become in 3-4 more years? If he puts the time into it and the effort. Snooker in the chat room says that if a person watches 3 pool tournaments in a row online, they should be declared legally dead. I've watched 2 and I'm still alive. Snooker's been watching tournaments that have been streamed all day. Meanwhile, Bucktooth is still barking with Frank Moreno. I don't know if this argument's going to end with a pool cue in their hand, but huh? Oh, now he's talking to someone different. Oh, he's talking to Lenny. Wow. What's up, buddy? You still in it? Table at home. Spencer still hanging in there. 3-4. What? Gunslinger, he says, I see raw potential in this youngster. He needs refinement. Yeah, I mean, you know, the kid's 17 years old. I mean, when Ronnie O'Sullivan was 17, I think he had already broken the world record for the longest maximum, the quickest maximum break at 4 minutes and 21 seconds. But, you know, not everybody's going to be Ronnie O'Sullivan, that's for sure. Some people develop slowly, more slowly than others. Spencer LADIN with that new cue smell. Yeah, there you go. Got that brand new Jerry McWhorter cue. I want to say hi to Jerry McWhorter. I think he's trying to break 100, or I don't know. I know that he plays the straight pool league at Jerry Matchin's room, and I want to say hi to Jerry Matchin too. Sure hope you're doing okay, you and Peggy at Sticks Billiards in Ventura. I want to say hi to all the crew out there. I want to say hi to Jay Beatty as well, and Fish. Hiya. Well, this is no gimme. Jason can cut this one ball and avoid scratching, but there's no guarantee that he's going to have shape on the two. He may even bump the two away. What I think will happen is he'll hit the... he's got to be careful not to scratch in off the two. He's going to... Yeah, he went for it, made it, got shape. How you like that? He hit it with more speed than I expected to, but it worked out for him. He bumped it away. Still needs to get shape on the three. He's coming down table. Looks good. The return of Chris Swart, ladies and gentlemen. Earl texted me while you were gone, by the way. He said to say hi and thank you very much for the kind words.
And not so kind words?
Chris Swart.
Where are we at? 5-2? 6-2?
No, 4-3. 4-3.
Tried.
Sorry. Yeah, they've just kind of been jockeying back and forth for position, and whoever, you know, it almost seems like neither of them know, really, who's going to shoot better. They're just kind of like trying to shoot good. I think they're trying to outflash each other a little bit. Maybe Jason's playing a little bit more sensible. But you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're sniffing each other's butts, like we were talking earlier. A couple of dogs spinning around each other and trying to figure each other out. One of these days, though, Chris, I got to sit down with you and maybe like let you tell me the story about how you got into the pool halls, and what was it about buying the pool hall from Chetito and
I had a moment of weakness.
a moment of weakness? Okay. Which
bought-
turned into a lifelong vocation for you.
Bought a pool hall thinking it was going to be easy.
Well, I think you've had a pretty good run.
Thank you.
Are you out?
No.
Johnny's out. Johnny
Johnny's
Donahoe.
left the building.
You can still bring your cue and leave it here with Chris Swart. And Johnny Donahoe can handle things. Thank
We
you
will
so
fix
much,
it.
man.
You're welcome. I'm a little fatigued right now, but it's well worth it.
Drive safely, huh?
Yes, I will.
How far do you have to go?
45 minutes.
Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz.
Johnny lives in Santa Cruz.
Must be nice. Must be nice living in paradise.
A little overcast, a little cool in the morning, but the afternoons are awesome.
Sounds like the beach.
As long as you're not living with one.
Oh, my goodness. There you go. Famous last words from Johnny Donahoe. All right, Jason's break. I used to call Jason the swashbuckler for that reason alone right there.
What's funny is 90% of all that motion is wasted.
Maybe Jason watches our streams with the volume down. Jason's a great guy. You know, his life's changed a lot in the last 3 years, though. He started working full time. He's a driver. You know, he does Uber and Lyft, and you know, once his roots set into that vocation, he really started doing it a lot more, and he actually is kind of dedicated to it.
I've tried to tell this to pool players numerous times that getting a check every week is much easier than
Yes.
playing pool.
Yeah.
Ask Billy Palmer.
Billy Palmer, yeah,
Billy
who
Palmer
became
will
a
tell you that he fell in love with the paycheck that came every week,
yeah.
and amazingly paid things off.
Yeah, and he
Bought a home.
He was a pool player exclusively and became a longshoreman, and he's been doing very well. He had a back injury, but I mean, you know, some of the good, there's some bad with the good, but
Yeah, but again, when you have a good job, you have medical,
yeah,
and when you have an injury like that, you can survive it because you get paid for sitting at home. Whereas a pool player, if you get a back injury, you're
a thumb
broke,
injury.
even more broke. Not an easy life to live for a professional pool player.
No. You know, and I like to say that, you know, even
Oh, no.
even some of the best players in their day, Ralph Greenleaf and you know, Joe Balsas, they had full-time jobs back in the day, you know.
Yeah, when they were playing in tournaments and making the same amount of money back then as these guys are now.
Now, which is big money.
And that's scary.
Yeah. It seems like inflation's gone up, but in the pool world, we've kind of been frozen in time when it comes to payouts and compensation.
Oh, what? Look at that. What a roll, huh? What a roll.
Yeah. He started. I think he's struggling now.
Well, gee, Daniel, that was a keen observation that you just had.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Mr. Captain Obvious over here. Well, no, I'm just saying I feel like his confidence is starting to kind of wane.
Oh, the
you know?
confidence you thought he had at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes you know the youth they need these lessons. Hopefully he can learn from it. You know. It's so important to learn from your mistakes. You're going to make tons of them playing this game.
Yeah.
It's the hardest game to play. It really is.
I don't know about the hardest, but it's not an easy
What do you,
game.
golf? Golf's harder?
No.
Darts?
No, you know what? Golf is that's a tough sport too.
Yeah.
As much as I don't like golf and I can't stand anything.
We're talking about real golf, right? With the grass? and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
clubs?
no.
Yeah.
I never understood why I want to whack a ball 200 and something yards and go chase it. I don't get
Chase it. How about
Chase it.
go look for it?
it never interests me. But then again, I've went out and I've played some golf, and you know what? I understand it. I understand the leisure part of it. I understand that. Yeah, I've never. Let's just put it this way. I've never played golf without some kind of liquid with me. So I will never say that I've done that professionally. No, I've done it recreationally, which I think 90% of Americans do.
Yeah. Gunslinger.
Do I think it's a tough? Yeah, it's tough to hit the ball where you want to hit the ball every single time. Yeah, it's a tough. It's tough.
Gunslinger in the chat room, he says that focus is not really the long suit of a 17-year-old. It's a good point, man. That's a good point.
He's just thinking about that driving test. That's what he's thinking about.
Yeah. Well, you know, his dad owns a dealership.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Of course.
LADIN, I think it's called LADIN. I don't want to be misquoted here. So.
Well, I'm gonna guess he has his license already and drives. Would be my guess. I don't know.
LADIN,
I don't know him. I'm gonna guess
something. Is it LADIN Chevrolet? Hold on a second.
Oh, there you go. Look it up. Google it. Google.
Well, no, he's got a bunch of LADIN Subaru, LADIN Hyundai.
You might want to learn how to spell.
LADIN Subaru in Thousand Oaks.
I like me a Subaru. There's nothing wrong with a Subaru.
No. Justin Marks puts his 2 cents in. It says Subaru. Daniel.
Wait a minute. So I do read someone here where it says 17-year-olds nowadays will never leave home
Till they're
till
47.
Well, let me tell you what. Most 17, 18, and 19-year-olds are already millionaires and make more money than we do. That's the sad part. So, yeah, a lot of them actually do get out of the house pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got their own Twitch gaming channels and YouTube channels.
Oh, my God, the worst thing in the world. My son, it drives me nuts. My son sits there and watching somebody else play video games or doing whatever they're doing. I'm like, what are you doing?
I know. Like,
what are you doing?
What dimension do you live in, man? It's like
My dad. I'm like, son, why don't you just go do that then? Can I?
We've got another friend, a client of ours, whose daughters just sit and watch YouTube all the time, and it's just a bunch of garbage. It's like
a lot of it is. I'm dead serious. I've never seen so much of somebody that sits in a room with a camera on them, watching or playing or doing. My son was watching a movie, talking about the movie.
Isn't that crazy?
That was their YouTube channel.
Like Mystery Science Theater, kind of, but worse.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. And these kids get paid. They're getting paid to do that.
They sure
are. And look, I can't sit there and say, hey, they got a job. They're working. But yeah, it's our society has kind of changed a little. That's for sure.
Well, it's definitely changing our values. What we place value on. It's interesting. YouTube is one of those incredibly strange social experiments. We all might live to regret.
Well, the Facebooks and the YouTubes, they're the devil. That's what I'll say. They're what is tearing our country apart.
Fabric of society.
It's
well, wait a minute. Actually, let me argue this for a second. Because
here we go.
No. Honestly, I mean, don't you think that parents have a responsibility there somewhere? Don't they take any responsibility at all for what their kids doing?
Well, again,
or are we?
First
or
off,
are we as parents
no,
working our asses too hard?
Well, that's part of it too. But let me put it to you. I have 2 kids, and I'm going to tell you, reality is, my kids do what I tell them to do, because parenting comes first from the parents, and if the parents aren't parenting, then your kids are going to do whatever they do.
Right.
Reality is, I allow my son and my daughter to do stuff on their own, with the reality of knowing that I have to teach them what's wrong and right. Once they've been taught what's wrong and right, you have to allow them to do things wrong or right. You know what I mean?
I understand.
I'll catch my son, like YouTube. There's certain things I'll allow him to watch on YouTube, and there's certain things I won't allow him to watch. Now, I obviously trust him to listen to me and not do that, but the reality is, we all know kids are kids, and they're going to wander to the wrong side, and it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But you still gotta parent them. So my problem with social media is not the kids. That's not my problem. My problem is adults, is the people that are our age, middle-aged, older, that think all of a sudden, because they can have a voice without their face or their name on it, can say whatever they want, and there's no recourse to it.
No consequence.
No consequence whatsoever. So you see it in a chat room like you have now. You see it on Facebook. You see it on AZ Billiards. You see it on every social platform that there is. That there's trolls out there, and there's people out there that'll say it could be. It's just detrimental to everything that they do. But yet, if you saw that person in person, you would never hear those things come out of their mouth. Ever.
Right.
Ever. If this was all on Skype, if all social media was on Skype, and you had to use your name, or your address, or your face, you wouldn't see half the things that come out of people's mouths.
You're saying it's almost like an extension of your ego.
Absolutely. It's because
an alter
they're hidden
ego
from it. You're killing me. What?
Wow. All right. We'll be right back with more of Joe Rogan. I'm just kidding. Pretty interesting, guys. Pretty interesting stuff. Yeah. And I'm gonna love how the trolls leave comments on this match later, but.
Look, it's something that it's getting worse and worse. It's just ridiculous. It's the racism card, and I mean not card, but racism all of a sudden is reared its ugly head again, because people out there, and a lot of times I don't even know if it's a true racist person that's saying it, but it's just like people just say it just because they can.
Yeah.
I'm going to type something. My name is. I don't even have my name on there.
So now they're just doing it for views.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're doing it just because they want to, because they can, because they know that Billy Joe Bob down the street doesn't know you're saying it, and you live on his same neighborhood, and he's going to come over there and whoop your butt. You know.
Yeah. It's the spectacle of society, you know. Like we've become addicted to that spectacle.
But what has happened because they do it so much online now, and because they do it in these chats, it's giving them the thought of it. How do I say this? It spreads out into their real lives. So you have somebody that, let's say that he's just a troller. He's somebody that's on social media, and he's just bashing, you know, whatever group he wants to bash, or he's just
Sure.
all of a sudden it becomes reality to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that everything he's doing is real. And then it slips into the real world, where now all of a sudden he says it at work, or he says it somewhere else, or he says it at a restaurant, where he would never do it before.
Right.
But because he's gotten so much
He's
confidence in himself,
been validated by this.
that's
this
right, that all of a sudden now I think I need to come in. When
cybernetic
reality,
organism
it's
that's
all of a
told them
sudden
it's okay
like,
to do it.
Right. And then right. And then they realize that what they just said was the stupidest thing in the world to say, or they get beat for it, or get shot for it, or whatever it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Then they're all apologetic about it. Well, yeah, you're apologetic about it because it just wasn't coming out of your mind before,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it is. So it just, for me, that's as we're watching our world change. A lot of everything that's coming out right now is social media driven. I'm telling you, it's going to be the ruin of a lot of our society. It's what's creating what we're dealing with right now.
I want to say hi to Jared Williams. Sorry you didn't get to this tournament. Jason's brother, Jared, is watching, and I'm hoping Marshall's watching in Chicago. Yeah. And at the same time, nowadays, it's really hard to expect the parents to have the responsibility to monitor all of this. There's too much now. There's too many avenues, I mean, look, there's a controversy over whether or not we should ban cell phones for kids in schools.
Okay, well, let me put it this way. My kid doesn't have a cell phone.
Right. No, but
I know a lot of them
okay.
do.
But in this day and age of in-school shootings, a cell phone is actually not a bad tool for a kid to have.
Nah, but come on. No, it's not. It's not a child. I'm sorry. The excuse,
I'm not making that the sole
no,
argument.
But that's an excuse. And that's what a lot of parents use. Is, what if there's a shooting? I need to be able to get a hold of my kid right away. I need to get a hold of them right away.
Yeah.
That's an excuse. The reality is, kids, my kids bring it up all the time. Look, they're 10 and 12 years old. Dad, how come we can't get a phone? All the kids at school have a phone.
Yeah.
Because you don't need
What
one.
if there's a
You're
shooting, Dad?
You're at school. You don't need one.
Now they're using that information.
What if
there's a shooting, Dad?
What if we got to get a hold of you? I go, there's a thing called a phone in the office. You go to the teacher.
Yeah.
You ask them to call me.
Yeah.
You don't need a cell phone. I'm sorry. You don't need it.
Yeah.
They don't. They don't need a cell phone. I'm sorry.
Dad, I really need an AR-15.
Yeah. Don't get me into the gun thing.
I
Give
won't,
me the
man.
ll
I'm
thing.
sorry.
And no, I mean,
How
it's
the hell
not,
did we even get on this, man? This is
I'm
so
not against,
bad.
Look, I'm not against guns, but I believe in teaching. It all comes down to parenting, exactly like you said, and you got to teach your kids to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Back to racism. Babies don't know racism. Racism is a taught thing. It's taught.
Yeah.
You don't just have it. It's taught.
Yeah.
And that's taught from generations. Babies don't know no difference. You go on the kids in the playground with kids. They don't know no difference.
That's true.
They don't.
That's true. I never did. Score right now 7-3. Jason Williams in the lead on the hill. And me and Chris Swart been taking liberties and just going off about things outside the pool world. However, this does bring up, food for thought. Maybe it's maybe we can talk about other things. We don't have to cover a pool match. We could talk about other things in the future.
Or we could just let everybody in the chat just kind of go after each other. That's fun, too.
Yeah, which happens. And it's funny that we went in this direction, even though my first question to you was, I'm curious about how this all started for you. How you ended up buying the pool hall from Thibodeau. And we ended up here.
It was a business opportunity, and it fell into my lap, and I went for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't something I was looking for.
When did you start playing pool?
Ooh, when I was a kid. We had a pool table in our house.
Okay.
So I played a lot when I was a
Old
kid.
school family then, like old-fashioned, like
me and my dad played the
pool
most.
table was part of the game room kind of thing?
Yeah, we had a game room, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was more myself and my father than anybody else. And then, after I moved out of the house, I didn't play pool for a long time. But when I did move up to Chico, I started playing some bar box tournaments that they had, because you could win beer and you can win, bucks for food and that kind of stuff. And then I found out I was beating the crap out of people and giving Budweiser cues and all that other stuff to the tournaments. So.
I remember you telling me. Now, was Chico for college?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It paid for a lot of things that I got to do there.
Yeah.
I didn't have to pay for food.
Oh, you mean?
much.
Wait a minute. You're one of those guys that paid your way through college, hustling pool?
No.
No, we've got to play later.
No, I had a job there, but it did pay for certain things. No, I didn't pay for all the school. Look, even back then, there wasn't enough
college.
There wasn't enough
pool.
money in pool to get through college. Sorry, no. I would never got through college if I was playing pool to get through college.
Yeah.
But it's an outlet, It was.
Now, how well did you know Thibodeau before you?
I knew Chet when.
For a couple years.
Funny story is the reason why I knew Chet is I coached and I played a lot of volleyball. So, a lot of the equipment that I had to get, volleyball, soccer, that kind of stuff, came from his store that he used to have, because he had a sports store.
Oh, he had
shoe store, sports store, that kind of thing.
Sports store. Thibodeau. Yeah.
Yes, he did. And he had that for probably 10, 12 years. It was one of the best sports stores in the Bay Area at that time. Because that man, Chet, he carried everything. He was
a nuclear engineer.
Yes, but he was a very smart man. He paid attention to trends. He was very good at what he did. And like I said, he kept a lot of things that were needed in certain sports that nobody else did.
Okay.
And Chet was a very nice guy, and so I did a lot of business with him when it came to that side of it. Now I lost track when I moved to Chico. I lost track of him from that point on. Now I know that he sold that business or went out of business, and got into the pool business.
I see.
And playing here and there and all that other stuff, I went in, played at his place, and I didn't know he owned it until the day I walked in there and saw his face in there. I go, well, I know where do I know you? I know your face.
So he looked familiar.
Yeah. And then finally, when I realized who it was like, oh, what got you into this business? Same kind of thing.
Okay.
How do you go from a sports business to a pool hall?
Yeah.
And I never knew that he was that much into pool. I didn't know he was.
That he always loved it.
He always loved
it. It was
pool.
a passion of his.
Right. So. And then obviously, I had played a lot on the East Bay. I went to California Billiards a few times. I like going there, but like everybody else, it takes time to get there and dealing with traffic and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I probably went there 2 or 3 times a month, but I had played another place over here on the East Bay, and I had another pool player of mine that got me in the idea of thinking about building a pool room in the East Bay. And being a builder at the time, I was building homes and other stuff.
So
it was kind of
when you
something
say
that
East
sounded
Bay,
like
that's like Oakland area, right?
No, Hayward, Union City,
Hayward, okay.
Newark, Fremont. But being a builder, it sounded like something that, hey, we could probably build. I could probably build one at a lot less cost and build what we want to do. But we could never find a place that made sense. And then, the whole California Billiards came up for sale. Heard that in the wind. And originally, we talked some numbers, but it was just, it was out of my price range for what, at the time, for what we wanted. And there were some other buyers involved, so I had heard that it was already pretty much sold, and then I got a call about 4 months after that his deal fell through, and that's when I got the meeting with him and sitting down with him personally and finding out the reason why he was selling, and his cancer. He had cancer before and beat it.
Okay.
And his cancer had basically come back, and it wasn't. It at the time I didn't know it, but it was terminal, and it was just kind of he just needed to get out of the business and be with his wife and do what he'd like to do, like going to the Sharks games, like going to do just to do things, get away from the pool.
You want to know the funniest story? It's not that funny, but the weirdest story, actually. One time I was streaming, I think it was like the second annual Chet Ito, and I left the building to go have a cigarette outside, and I saw a lady outside walking down the street, walking a dog.
Yeah, his wife.
And she said, "Hi, how are you?" I'm like, "I'm good." She's like, "What are you doing out here?" Like, for some reason, talk to me. I said, "Oh, I'm here at the pool hall streaming a tournament. It's the Chet Ito 9-ball tournament." She said, "Oh, that's my husband."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No way!" Like, I couldn't even believe why she didn't even walk into the pool hall. It was very strange to me, like a very surreal situation.
It was hard for her to. I mean, look, she
to come to terms
dedicated
with it.
Her life.
To him.
She was around. She worked that business when they first opened, and anybody that's out there that owns a pool room or has ever owned a pool room knows it's a 24/7 job. It takes a lot of your life away. You're spending a lot of your time in the pool room.
Look at
So
Geraldine.
for her,
Geraldine.
yeah.
She's sacrificed so much to support me and what I do.
Looks like Jason's about to finish this off, and it is.
It is over.
Finished.
It is.
So anyway,
we do have another match coming up, guys, so stick around.